everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
Major.
Now I'm Robbie.
And Matt.
And today we've been away for a while, but we're glad to be back. We had Thanksgiving holidays and some traveling getting in the way, but we're back. We're ready to talk about the
We are.
the last two episodes of Invincible, episode 3 and 4, and that wonderful Loki finale that happened a few weeks ago. But it's still fresh in our minds, so it's still going to be exciting to talk about.
Yeah, it is. Man, what a way to wrap up an excellent series. Maybe I think it nailed the ending. We'll talk about it for sure.
Maybe, probably.
But first, I wanted to get in some news with you guys. This is actually a Zeitgeist Zealots exclusive. Just got the phone with my buddy Bob Iger. Disney is officially rebranding to the company now known as These Nuts after their last animated movie Wish flopped in the box office. Did you guys hear about this? 3.9. Exactly. Which one?
I bet he wishes it did better.
I bet he wishes he didn't come back.
Lowest scoring movie in over 20 years for Disney on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it is. And it's got, dude, it's crazy. Like, this
I think Chicken Little was the last time it scored this low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is correct. I think this is like this could be like an actual wake-up call. Now, I know we say that after every movie, but this isn't like...
When is the actual wake-up?
This isn't like a fanboy. This isn't like Brie Larson. No one's really mad at like bad interviews, right? Like cough, cough, Snow White. Right? But this had Chris Buck as the director, who is the director of Frozen. All right.
Chris
Buck. He directed
Frozen. That's a successful one.
Yeah,
I've never seen it, but it's pretty successful.
Other director was Fawn, and I apologize for this, Fawn Vera Sunthorn. And that person worked on Moana and Zootopia, which are excellent movies, right?
So like successful.
Great. Like the top critic score at the time of when I was looking this up, 33% rating on Rotten Tomato. Now, that's, it's nothing, but that's still, it's still something.
Zootopia was strange because that was a Disney movie, but it was not Pixar, despite it being animated. Same with Frozen. These were like 3D movies that were not Pixar, which I didn't realize Disney made those. But
I will say this. So I'm a father of 2 kids, and I didn't even know this movie was coming out. I was in Walmart the other day, and I was like, what's this? And they have all this, like, toys for this movie Wish, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this. And when you're a dad with 2 kids who are obsessed with Disney, and you haven't heard about this movie, you know something went wrong. So it almost seems like they purposely, like, undersold it because they knew it was bad.
Well, they probably saw it. Yeah, the animation is getting dragged through the coals right now online. It's supposed to be like the worst. Not just like, is it a terrible movie? It's supposed to be like the worst looking movie in 20 years too.
Well, it's like Disney Plus really should have, like, for the people who have the ad option, they really should have been promoting this movie on Disney Plus, because most people don't even have cable now, where they can't even control what commercials they see.
Right.
And they would have seen the Wish promotion and the marketing, but like I'd never heard of this movie until like maybe this week either. I didn't even know there was a 5th season of Fargo until a few days ago. It premiered, like totally by accident. I was like watching, I think, cable TV, maybe like at a bar. Yeah, I saw a commercial. Nice. I saw a commercial for season 5 of Fargo. I was like, oh, I guess I'll watch that. Thanks for telling me, FX. Really great job with the marketing there.
Not a good weekend box office for Disney for Wish, but in a 1-2 sucker punch, the Marvels bombed 2 weeks in a row. No shocker there.
Wasn't it like an 80% drop week on week?
Largest drop the largest second week drop off of any superhero movie
until Aquaman 2.
Until Aquaman 2. Right?
I think that's being geared to flop as well, from what I understand. Which, I mean, just like Captain Marvel, I think it has made $1 billion. Its first movie, and that was sort of the tail end of 2018. So right between
Infinity War and Endgame, right? And
Yeah, it's the exact
there
same
was the
situation.
beeper. There was the beeper at the end of Infinity War. They hyped up like you had like with Endgame, the biggest movie event happening of the millennial decade or millennial generation, right? To understand like what was happening, to really appreciate those 23 movies, you had to watch that 22nd movie, right? That's what we were led to believe.
Aquaman got that Avatar money. Yeah, so I think Aquaman's being poised to fail, and James Gunn's really going to have his work cut out for him. But it seems like he's
Captain Marvel's changing her catchphrase to lower, further, flopper.
It's flopper in time, or flop on.
So I'll just say,
yeah, I got it. It's flopping time.
Here's the issue with the Marvels movie, though. 2 of your main characters were introduced randomly in shows on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not invested in the shows, you're not going to be invested in this movie.
And
also,
if
you see this movie, if you've seen this movie, you're like, well, wait, now I have to go back and watch 2 different seasons of 2 different shows to like understand what's going on. It's almost too much.
No.
Yeah,
unless you're doing a podcast, ain't nobody got time for that.
And talking about ignoring wake-up calls, I think they just said they're going to have a season 2 of Moon Knight and Miss Marvel.
And
so
it's not like they're guessing. It's not like they're looking on Twitter and they're like, man, we're getting so many impressions with Miss Marvel. They have the actual metrics of how many hours of Miss Marvel was watched. And then they were like, let's keep going. My question is, do you think more Netflix Daredevil is being watched than Disney Plus shows? Maybe combined or separately?
I just know that She-Hulk will get 5 seasons before Daredevil gets the reboot completed. They're just going to keep canceling it,
probably for the best,
firing. Yeah.
Or before Blade ever gets even into its production stage.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali will be in his 60s before they start filming on Blade.
It's going to be Blade
and
Beyond.
He's literally, I think he's literally 15 years older than Wesley Snipes was when Wesley Snipes started doing Blade. Or something like that, yeah. Cause he's just like, I know, he's gonna be like all CGI anyway, just like Captain Marvel, so it won't matter. So yeah, we ready to get into?
We can help. Well, I just got a couple more things, if you don't mind. I do have some hope for the listeners that maybe the board of directors or Disney creatives over there are starting to take notice, because I don't know if you knew this, guys, but Captain Marvel and Valkyrie were supposed to have been confirmed as lovers in the Marvels.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. And they cut.
But suspiciously, after the Pandaverse came out, that line was removed from screenings. So,
well, did she and Rhodey share a look in Endgame that was supposed to hint that they were sort of?
I mean, didn't Scarlett Johansson
friendly?
take a shower with the Hulk? And do you guys remember?
I missed that scene.
Do you guys remember those 2 pumps in the Eternals? Disney just needs to maybe not try to get sexual, or get better at it. Which they might have a chance to do if they pick the right Silver Surfer. Did you guys hear that they might gender swap this to be a woman?
Well, I don't think they're going to gender swap. They're just going to, because Anna Taylor-Joy, I think, is sort of in talks or in the mix to be join the movie, and people think it's going to be a gender swapped Silver Surfer, but I think it's going to be Nova.
The female one.
Yes, the female herald called Nova, not to be confused with Richard Rider. This is a character that's basically just like the Human Torch. She's just made of fire, but she's Galactus' herald. So I think that's who they're getting her to play. But I think both that character and Silver Surfer will be in the movie. And guess who's being eyed to play Doctor Doom?
Mickelson?
Played another Doctor. He played another. Yeah, actually, he's in the mix. But the name I heard today, he also played a Doctor who's responsible for a lot of destruction.
Dr. Oz?
Dr. Ozenheimer. Sorry, I can't think of a good segue. But yeah, Cillian Murphy, I think, is being eyed to play Dr. Doom.
It's about time he gets in. It's about time he gets into the MCU.
Well, he was Scarecrow for all three of those Nolan movies. I mean, it's just like
he was good.
they just keep, like everyone just jumped ship from DC to Marvel or Marvel to DC. I'm trying to think. Yeah, who also?
Well, you know
is,
who's
like,
not jumping ship is Dave Filoni, because he just became the chief creative officer of Star Wars. So he'll be working right next to Kathleen Kennedy. You know, who knows? Maybe two wrongs can make a right.
I don't even know if like that's gonna make any difference, because basically I thought he was sort of in charge of Star Wars creative. Yeah, so it's like a hollow sort of announcement.
And
I don't really think anything.
This is my last little bit, and I have to include this because we have Matt with us here today. Have you heard recently that George R. R. Martin wrote nothing this year with Winds of Winter? Crickets, exactly.
They sigh.
Well, it's not winter yet. Well, now it is winter, so maybe he'll.
Maybe no. Yeah, the whole it is.
He has like what I think like a little over 1,045 pages completed for 2 books worth of stuff.
He recently updated. George R. R. Martin recently updated audience saying, "I have like 1,100 pages written, but I still have hundreds more pages to go." However, back in December 2022, the author said he had written about 1,100 to 1,200 pages of Winds of Winter, but needed to write 400 or 500 more pages.
So we all know that he's just hoping to die, and that Brandon Sanderson finishes it for him.
What he should do is say
Ryan
his
Herbert.
hard drive. What he should do is say his hard drive got stolen and it's all taken off. And you know, like someone broke into his car.
So wait. Do you know how like George R. R. Martin like actually writes his books? It's like on an MS-DOS like command prompt type thing. It's
like a
so
word processor?
crazy. Yeah, like an MS-DOS based word processor.
He has
it's
a blog.
nuts.
So he can't even like look at the internet when he's like. I mean, that's probably a good thing, because he probably doesn't need to be like surfing the internet to distract him while he's writing his book. So it's pretty smart using a word processor that's sort of like devoid of the outside world, and just focus on his fantasy world.
Clearly, he has a discipline problem.
Well, we all know that. We all know he loves trolling fans. He loves trolling fans. I think if he does die, he's not going to hand over the reins to Brandon Sanderson. He's going to hand over the reins to Brian Herbert to finish.
Finish the
Song of Ice and Fire.
That guy has destroyed his father's legacy.
Exactly.
Who are the
George R. Martin's?
Who are the two guys?
I hate my fans so much. I'm just going to hand it over to Brian Herbert. Who
are the two guys in charge of Rings of Power? That's who you should give it to.
He should give it.
That would infuriate every fan.
He should give it to Kathleen Kennedy. No, I don't know. He should give it over to Scott Buck, who ruined not one but 2 Marvel TV shows, Inhumans and Iron Fist.
Damn, I wonder if he's any related to Chris Buck.
Yeah, that's when you mentioned Chris Buck. I'm like, he must know Scott. He must be related to Scott Buck, because that family has no talent, apparently.
The buck stops there, and so does the talent.
Yep.
Where's that? Hit me with that one.
The clap thing.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
But guys, you know, this is pretty bleak, but thanks to God King Loki, there exists a timeline out there where these shows didn't suck. So let's dive into how that's even possible, and why we should all be thankful to Loki.
So basically Loki goes back in time a bunch of times, and he can't change anything, so he decides to become a Keebler elf and live inside a tree. The end. And Owen Wilson sees his family again, and he's like, wow.
Guys, I thought it was excellent. I thought this was like the best hour of Marvel since Endgame.
Oh man, him just
grabbing those vines and making them green.
No, the whole
experience over the how many years?
The whole Groundhog's Day. Right?
I love it.
That?
My favorite scene in that whole episode was when he's explaining to the guy, you know, the first step is a trip. Make sure this is sealed. Don't do this. Don't put the thing down. Like you can tell, he's experienced it over and over again. And
do not put this.
And Tom Hiddleston is such a good
actor. He learns like all the engineering from.
Yeah, it's like how long would that take? years, decades, centuries, and then it's like a few centuries later.
Oh my god,
you
that would
hear
be
the
insane.
SpongeBob voice? A few centuries later.
So I love how it's like a backhanded slap about how dumb Loki is, because they're like, like decades, centuries, and it's like several centuries later.
I was
I
was like, how?
He failed his physics PhD like 80 times.
Victor Timely was like 20, 30, 40 years old at the time. Like, surely it could take one 40 years to learn 40 years worth of Victor Timely's knowledge.
I mean, like a 4-year PhD program, you might be able to get like a gist out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, we've all been to school. We've all been to college. We know you could take 4 years and take everything that you actually need to learn and cram that down to like 1 semester, 2 semesters tops.
Yeah, I think it was just a course on just making time barometers. He could have just taken that course.
Yeah.
They should have. Well, I think.
He needs YouTube. He needs to go down the YouTube rabbit hole.
You should go on to TVAU, taking that class on time barometers.
So I really enjoyed how knowledgeable Loki was. I really enjoyed how he just speed ran through like season 2. Like, he was going back like a little bit, and then he'd go back like a little bit more, and then go back like a little bit more. And then like we just saw pretty much this whole season take place in like 10 minutes. He's like, Miss Minutes, let's go. I know you're mad, let's go.
Him getting to that first room with Morbius was pretty cool.
You mean
Mobius?
Mobius?
Right. No, yep.
Mobius,
So I
Morbius.
saw a great meme today, and it was Mobius on a jet ski crying, going, realizing you're the best character in the series, but everybody confuses you with Jared Leto.
Yeah.
That's
and speaking of Morbius, did anyone see the Madam Web trailer?
Yes.
Sony's next big hit after Kraven the Hunter makes $2 billion.
Sweeney
What is
should
Sony
play
doing?
the Silver Surfer.
I mean, basically Sony's just like, well, maybe I think Amy Pascal, who's in charge of the Sony Spider-Man verse, is just basically just like doing everything she can to survive right now.
They're trying to create their own MCU, but they only have Spider-Man toys
they only have
to play
Venom.
with.
No, they have Miles Morales.
They have all of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's got a huge catalog. They have like 200 Spider-Man characters, right?
Yeah.
Madam Web is the multiverse. This is how they create the Spider-Man MCU over at Sony, so they don't have to keep sharing profits.
When we were talking about Kraven, remember how I'm saying like, don't the Sinister Six needs to be introduced all together. You can't draw out every single person's backstory in a movie, and I think that's what they're gonna be doing.
That's what
every
Disney Plus is for.
member of Sinister Six is gonna get a movie, and that's frustrating.
Nah, dude.
I'll
tell you right now.
I know
6 episodes, 6 origin stories, the Sinister Six on Disney Plus limited series. Right? You watch it if you want to, so you have more background on who everyone is, and then you can just walk into the theater and have a great time at the movies. I think you're absolutely right.
This is one of the few times I wouldn't mind like a 8-episode series where 40 minutes each, everybody gets a backstory. This is how we came together, and there you go. Then go to the movie.
Yeah, it's sort of like that scene in Seinfeld where he's talking to the deaf woman. And he's like, "How about 6?" And she thinks he's saying sex. And he's like, "How about 6? You got a problem with 6? 6 is good." And she just looks horrified because she thinks he's saying sex because she's deaf. So it's sort of like Amy Pascal being like, how about 6? And I'm like horrified.
You're like, no, don't make me watch 6 episodes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, is it the Rhino going to be in? Is the Rhino going to be in Kraven the Hunter?
Maybe.
If you watch the trailer,
is that from the trailer, right?
He's like, "You want to know why they call me the Rhino?" And then someone commented in the trailer, like, "I just hope the Rhino remembers the advice his dead uncle gave him. With great horns comes great horniness."
All right, so back to Loki. I thought there was some really good writing and foreshadowing in this TV show. I wanted to
foreshadowing for the season 3 that's never going to happen.
No, for the
or
end,
foreshadowing
for the finale, for the last 10 minutes or so. So like in the episode, like there are parts where, like Sylvie says, you've been seduced by a throne, and Loki says the last thing I want is a throne, and we know how this show ends. And at the beginning of the episode, or somewhere in the episode, not the beginning, but like He Who Remains is talking, definitely not the beginning. He Who Remains is talking to Loki, and he said, "I make the tough choices. That's why I get the big chair." And Loki had to make the toughest choice of all, had to make the hardest sacrifice of all, right? And that's why he got the biggest fucking coolest chair, right? That's why he got that throne at the end. And I was like, damn, that's some good writing.
He's got to stay there.
Anyone disappointed that He Remains in 2023 wasn't he/him/his remains? Who remains?
I mean, I think
just so we know his.
If anyone should have been they who remains, it is Jonathan Majors. It's Jonathan Majors.
So I will say
well, they should call him If He Remains, because he still hasn't won that case yet, or been vindicated. So If He Remains for King Dynasty, but.
So I will say this. One of the gentle nods to writing, because we're always bashing the writing, but season 2 has done really well in encapsulating season 1, and we find out at the end of season 1 what He Who Remains really wants, and that is for somebody to replace him, and that's ultimately what we get. So we were already told how season 2 is going to end,
right,
at the end of season 1,
and
that's finally some good writing.
You know why that was, though? This is the only show that had true direction. Did you guys know that Marvel's been running around, like all these shows are going around without showrunners? Like, that is absolutely mind-blowing. But Loki, season 1 to season 2 was a complete story arc that the writers had in mind from the very beginning. That's why it's so congruent, and that's why it works so well. And dude, I can't wait to just spend a weekend and binge season 1 and 2 and just watch it continuously as the one story, because if you think about it, at the end of season 1, he just he flips back and there's like a brand new TVA, and in season 2 he just hit the ground running, right? Like this whole story takes place of like 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. I don't even know.
Well, over centuries it took him to learn physics, but yeah, true. I don't know. I'm just I think he's probably gonna. I'm pretty sure he's just going to have a. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be season 3. I think there's going to be. No. He's going to show up in King Dynasty or Secret Wars in some capacity. So
yeah.
But yeah. This show happened. I mean, I didn't like season 2 as much as season 1, but at least it seems like it has a definitive ending. And I know they changed showrunners, so I think there was definitely a dip in quality this season. But
Sylvie still a bitch this episode, who could just not, like, she just every day she wakes up and chooses violence. Like, there's a point where she's literally, it's like, all right, everyone can die, and they'll have free choice as corpses, or we can preserve what we have. And she's like, she's like, what? She tries to argue that the death of everyone is better than this misjustice that's going on in the TVA. And it's like, whoa, calm down. Like, we need new leadership. We don't need to burn the whole universe down. We just need to get some new people in charge.
Time to start fresh.
Yeah, so like again, that's probably my biggest complaint. And I know like Loki needed like an antagonist or whatever, and so it was Sylvie this season. But I didn't like how it was written.
Yep.
That's my biggest complaint.
I guess you can go work at Wendy's now. Just
What did you guys think about Loki's costume? At the end?
It's sort of weird. It was kind of like, why did you choose that? Like, why the slippers?
Did you notice that his helmet and his horns were the same black metal that like the Rock is that he was walking towards was made of, and had like the gold on it? So that's kind of cool.
Did it have the gold on it?
I think there was a piece of gold in there. I mean, maybe not, but there's
the same.
There's definitely
same
black
mineral
rock.
as the throne.
Yeah, it was the same minerals as the throne and the rock and the mansion at the end of time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And then, so dude, he's walking up.
But that whole epic walk up.
The music is so good. And then, I mean, it could be better. I feel like that's when you play like the main theme, the dun dun. Like I was when I replayed that in my head, I was just add like the title music into it because I think it's better. But at the end, like when it goes into the Loki theme or whatever, dude, he's grabbing branches and he's just walking up, dude. It's so fucking good, dude. I was like, this is what we should get every week.
And it's like forming a big cape behind him and everything.
So no, it's Yggdrasil. That's the crazy part. He rebuilds Yggdrasil, which is the life, like in Norse mythology, it's like the universe. It's the tree of life. And it's literally Yggdrasil, so
Also
I love how they tie it into Norse mythology.
So wait, the Mormons were wrong?
The Mormons
It's
have
Yggdrasil.
The Mormons have a
Yggdrasil.
tree of life.
No, Major, you obviously watch Screen Rant because he pronounces it incorrectly as well on Screen Rant. I love Ryan Airy, but it's Yggdrasil.
I mean, like, do you say Barcelona or Barcelona?
I say go fuck yourself.
Okay, I was just saying like
I say Chelsea. Yeah. What do you think happened to Ravonna? Because she's back in the I guess the garbage dump of the TVA.
I think she got ate by Elias.
No. I think a variant of He Who Remains, Kang, is actually controlling Elias, and it's not going to be as scary as we think, and she's going to be like, oh, cool, yeah, let's go along with this somehow. There's some other plan.
You, this is a thread Marvel will never approach again. We will never see Ravonna Renslayer again.
Well, they're already saying that they're like sidelining Loki for a prolonged period of time because of this. So we will never find this become.
This isn't our Loki. This is a variant Loki. Our Loki's dead. Our Loki got killed by Thanos. So yeah, he's kind of like this was like an extra little.
Was that the sacred timeline though?
I think so. Yeah.
The one that our Loki died in. Yeah.
Oh, now we did find out that the Kang variant in Ant-Man was not He Who Remains or Kang, because Mobius calls him this. You see at the end when they're wrapping stuff up in the new TVA, and he calls him the 616 adjacent.
Yep.
The He Who Remains variant on 616 adjacent. So that's the reference to the Ant-Man movie. So confirmation that he's not dead. He was just handled, but it's not the same guy.
Yeah. So I guess now that Loki is the god of stories, right? That's his official title now. He's he's sort of like the big man on campus now. He's
right.
You might say he's really powerful. He's super powerful. He has, omnipotence. He's invincible.
He's the god of lady boners. That's for sure. Guys, that look on his face at the end. How long do you think it took them to record that? Like, how many takes do you think that took to get that face right?
Oh, when he's
sitting there and like he's like content and he's just staring off,
it was
and then
it was
a little hint of a smile, like
Well,
like
he
I miss
finally
everyone.
his throne at the cost of his friends. He is lonely once again.
Like,
so just that look.
Can he watch on those timelines while he's sitting there?
He can hear people. We
heard
him listen to the voice.
That's the face of a veteran binger right there, because he's just binging all the timelines, and he'll never have
nothing else to do for however long he's alive.
Yes, he'll never run out of content to watch. So basically, Loki's us, because Disney just gonna keep turning out content. It's not good.
Like the Watcher.
Futurama episode we watch.
Make sure to subscribe. We'll be covering What If. The next Disney Plus show coming out in December, I think. They're doing.
Oh wow!
No.
What is it?
Refuse. No, I'm putting my foot down. No.
It's one episode a day.
No.
They're doing one episode a day.
No.
You're watching it. You're doing it. I'm making you watch it.
I was hoping Marvel was done this year. I mean, the year only has like 1 month left. But I was like really hoping we're done with Marvel.
But it's not 6 weeks. I think it's like, or how many episodes?
6 days.
They're doing they're doing one episode a day. They're dropping it. So nice. I can do that.
Yeah, whatever. I'll watch it. Why not? Ready to move on to Invincible?
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
segue did not work. So let's start with the
So
episode.
first, as we're moving on to Invincible, how depressing is the fact that we now have a how many month layoff and we only got 4 episodes?
Oh god, dude, the mid-season, dude, I didn't realize it was a mid-series finale until today, and my heart sank to the bottom of my shoes when I found out that
That
next week,
Invincible is finally back to us.
next week, no more Invincible.
And it's coming back next year, or
Probably 2024.
Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
the time to do it.
Well, Amazon got subscribers for one more month because it literally have like 4 weeks of content, and then like people just cancel after the fourth week.
Well, so this,
I believe it's February or March.
this
I can.
allegedly due to production issues, and
Yep.
the director said to preserve the integrity of the show. I'm paraphrasing here, right? To preserve the integrity of the show, it's best if we split it up like this. That way, you get some Invincible, and then we'll have Invincible the way we like it for you in 2024.
Well, 8 more weeks of Fargo. I guess will have to sustain me until then.
Yeah. So,
Sweet.
episode 3. In about 6 hours, I lose my virginity to a fish. What do you guys think about this episode?
I thought that was episode 2 with.
Is that episode 2?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're on
Episode 3,
aren't we?
Episode 3 was with Alan the alien and Mark both getting laid at the same time, and the narrator had to like go back and forth, like, oh, they're doing it. We'll go over here. Oh, they're also doing it. This cat's licking himself.
Episode 3, I watched a few beers deep and then had to revisit the next day because it was really like 3 episodes in one. And every time I kept thinking the episode was over, a new episode would start. So I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't skip on those mid-credit scenes. It's a whole nother episode.
Well, it's just sort of insane. It sort of showed us just how crazy, these 3 Viltrumites are, like probably the first we've seen in the show since Omni-Man. It really just shows like how powerful they are.
So powerful.
Yeah. So it's just nuts how these guys haven't taken over the. How are they not taken over the universe
They're just
already?
sending one out.
Because apparently Alan can't even beat one.
No, bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's
Bureaucracy.
Yeah.
They say, hey, you go to your planet and you take it over, and if you can't, we'll kill you and then send another person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the bureaucracy. That and they're too busy killing each other to prove how awesome they are.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
There is a little secret revealed, but I don't know if I should say it.
Say it.
I mean,
do it.
Say it.
Should I?
Yes.
Yeah, say it.
Well, it's later revealed by Nolan that there's actually less than 50 Viltrumites left in the universe.
Oh, because they're all killing each other?
It was actually from the Scourge virus.
Oh, is that what you meant by the Great Purge?
Yeah.
Yeah, where did I miss this?
Well, the first...
They had...
it
Robbie's reading the comics.
I'm reading the comic. It's not in the...
Oh, dear God.
It's not in the episode yet.
Spoiler alert. It's the word you were looking for, Robbie.
As Tip pops in.
Oh, my God.
What a
fucking that's why I asked if you didn't want...
I've read the comics, but, completely forgot about that.
Yeah, no, thanks for the reminder. I don't
so there's less than 50 Viltrumites. I guess that's why there's...
Yeah, and that's why they're spread out to only, one per planet.
You think
but they don't want that. They don't want that revealed because it might make them look weaker than they really are.
How would you just not put all 50 of them back on the same planet and just reproduce? You're like, hey guys, I know to conquer, but we should probably just reproduce.
Outside Viltrum, there's a whole ring, but it's not asteroids ring. It's a ring of bodies around Viltrum.
Of dead Viltrumites just floating in space.
Yeah,
like how we have
virus
satellites.
Just put the 50 remaining Viltrumites in an orgy tent like they do at Burning Man, and just have.
But then there's even more about who made the Scourge virus.
Was it Alan, or was it Thetis?
You have to subscribe because Rob will tell us next week.
Thetis, voiced by Optimus Prime, who I guess is working for the Viltrumites.
Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't General Kurg, that's for sure.
Or is he a Viltrumite?
Oh, is Thetis a Viltrumite? Just tell me. Tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's a Viltrumite pretending to be a non-Viltrumite, even though he's the same species as the Viltrumites.
And
they could figure it out.
He's the one who made the Scourge virus.
So wait, so who's he working? He's like Palpatine. He's working both sides. He's like working for the Viltrumites and he's working against them. So what is it, Rob?
No, he's not. He's turned on the Viltrumites like a long time.
But why is he giving them information then? Because he's the spy, right?
No, he's not the spy.
Oh,
the one who's running the coalition of planets.
Yeah, that's not the spy, Thetis?
No, he's the one who's like running all of it.
You guys ever been like in a conversation with a bunch of people, and then two people start talking about something you have no idea what they're talking about, and then it's just like.
You didn't watch the episode? Thetis is in charge. All right, so is Thetis pro-Viltrumite or anti-Viltrumite?
Who's
Thetis? Thetis is Optimus Prime.
He's anti-Viltrumite. He made the Scourge virus.
So why did he try to kill Alan?
Oh, is that the head of the council guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he didn't. He saved Alan.
No, he turned off his machine, remember?
Which one you're talking about?
Remember when he said, "Forgive me, Alan"? Yeah, that's Thetis.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, well, that part didn't happen in the comics. I was a little I guess they're taking a different route or something else.
Oh, okay. So Thetis is the spy in the show, but not the.
Unless he's turned him off to basically upgrade him into.
Yeah, I think he's going to turn into a little cyborg.
Huge bulky self.
Well, time will tell. But
stuff with what's his name? Who's working with Cecil?
Donald,
yes.
Yeah, let's talk about the side plots. So, Donald watches.
Donald's a clone.
Donald watches footage of Nolan killing Donald.
Nolan grabbed him by the spine, and then he just
blew up
in the building.
In the comics,
apparently he doesn't know, but I think in the comics he's a cyborg from the beginning and knows it.
So he's not really like. He uploaded his brain, and like his brain is kind of like part of the new body, but it's like a completely different body in the comics. So it's kind of weird. It's like not really a clone. It's like a transferring the brain into a new body type deal.
So like what Robot did, basically.
But you notice when he like stabbed his arm, but it like bent the knife.
It did bend the knife. So he's not a robot, but he's definitely maybe superhuman. He's got some. Maybe he's going to be like have some adamantium skeleton. Maybe.
Well, I have a feeling the Maulers are sort of behind Donald's resurrection, and that's why they reintroduced them.
Talk about the Maulers.
Oh man, they're definitely one of my favorite characters in the series.
So this is the first time ever. I mean, at least in Canada, or at least that we're exposed to, where the Mauler twins know exactly who the clone is, and
that doesn't work out.
That does not work out well at all. You can see why
it's much better than just not know
at all, and just have them bickering. I did like how he made his clone call him King Mauler. But then just instantly poisoned his lemonade.
The clone becomes the bitch of the twins.
Gets his lemonade poisoned and dies. I thought that was great.
Man, you make some shitty orange juice.
I think it's not as shitty as you think it is, or it's about to be a lot shittier than you originally thought.
When you're talking about,
you notice there's a lot more F words flowed especially in episode 4.
Yeah, no holds barred. I think the comic wasn't as violent when it first started, but then it's got more and more violent as it went along. So, y'all know why Science Dog was changed from Science Dog to Seance Dog in the show?
Trademark.
Isn't it?
They didn't own the rights. They didn't own the rights to Science Dog.
Even though Robert Kirkman created both of them, which is weird because I thought Robert Kirkman owned everything he created because that's the whole point of Image.
But
comics.
I was gonna say, but aren't you aware of how
he was
Hollywood
much cooler.
works?
He was cooler looking in the comics.
You don't own anything.
Scientology probably bought Science Dog.
But then
I guess Amazon hasn't paid him for the rights to Science Dog, so they had to create Seance Dog.
Well, they had to pay.
I'm guessing
$100 million to J.R.R. Tolkien's estate.
They would have had to pay Kirkman more money, and he was like, "I got enough, so we'll just change the Science Dog."
How good is the writing?
I legitimately thought it was paying the rights to Kirkman, so that, and they wanted a Marvel reference once again with Doctor, whatever his name is,
Dr. Dog.
You were so close there. You were halfway there.
Uh,
Let's talk about dude. How good was the writing? So like, Debbie is trying. You see Debbie go on this arc. She's been talking to these people. She goes on a bad day, or she almost says a day. It's not really. It's a cup of coffee. She talks to Art. We get to see Mark Hamill. Everyone, that is awesome. I love to see Luke whenever I can.
Who just announced he'll never voice the Joker again because he doesn't want to do it without Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Aww.
I was like, yeah.
That's sweet.
So
he's a sweet.
He'll just be on Invincible now, and maybe
or a doddering old fool if you follow him on Twitter. It depends on wherever you think. Comment down below. What do you think about Mark Hamill online?
Amazon loves their superhero support groups because there's the one in The Boys where it's like I dated a superhero, and I like the one guy.
I think it's very real. Like that's a traumatic. The superheroes. I mean, fuck that. No, I think it's just they do a lot of grounded shit, and I think if we're going to be real, superheroes really existed, there would definitely be support.
Well, it's because the Invincible was way more serious. Where like the boys were just like, yeah, she could freeze her body, and I was inside her when she froze, and she broke my dick off. Yeah.
Or I sneezed after I did some cocaine and I blew up my boyfriend.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they love their superhero support group.
But anyway, so Debbie is on this arc of getting over Nolan, and you see her throwing away these books, the same books that Mark now needs to read.
Because they're the secrets to beat the Viltrumites.
Yeah, very
That's
cool.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So like,
I think I know where the books went.
Yeah. Oh, well, don't spoil it. Yeah.
I've already thrown out some major spoilers.
Do it. It's 3 months until the next episode. No one's gonna remember what you're about to say.
Probably edit like a spoiler alert.
Hey, if you guys would just go ahead and subscribe on YouTube, then we'll have enough subscribers that I can do timestamps. So that would be fantastic. If you just want to mosey on over, or if you're there, just scroll down some. Make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so it ended with Seance Dog being a grasshopper person who led Mark back to his dad.
A Thoraxin? Yeah.
Thoraxin, yes, because of the thorax that bugs have. So very clever, Robert Kirkman. Nice wordplay there. So he takes him back to Thraxis, and we see Omni-Man again, who's now the Emperor of the Thraxins. And then in the next episode, we get not one but two montages of sad people floating around or walking around. One with Debbie and one with Nolan at the very beginning. Because he's just like, well, he's about to kill himself, isn't he?
He was about to go into that black hole.
That black hole? Dude, how beautiful was that beginning?
Yeah, that wasn't in the comic, but I like that because they didn't really explain how he ended up on that planet in the comic.
Yeah, so that was nice.
So that was
added.
Yeah, that was a nice addition there.
Matt, what'd you think? This was a slow cover. This was a cover of Avalanche by Leonard Cohen, which is just a slow song. So it's not exactly a slow cover. What did you think about the music there, Matt?
So I actually didn't mind it because it wasn't slowing down a fast song or whatever. I felt it's at pace with the original song. And the other thing, too, is that it was appropriate to the scene. It wasn't just saying zombie because there's zombies in the background.
Shots fired. Dear Lord.
Yeah, and then he saved the grasshopper people, and then he, for some reason...
He fell in love.
He was about to leave.
Hey, yeah. I mean, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else.
Or have them over you.
Or
have someone else
make them your overlord.
How much time passed? Was it about a year or so?
That's a great question. He's graduating high school. I'm not too sure.
So,
a few months.
You figure what's his name was still a senior, and then he graduates, and then he's going to college. So you figure it's at least September, October at this point. So it's like 6 to 9 months.
They have shorter lives, those Thoraxins.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. I wonder how many generations that he's taken over that planet
Yeah, he's just the oldest one. And that's
Well,
why,
she was in.
That's
Well,
why
she was.
he's in charge now.
She was
Yeah.
in the ship. She was in the ship he saved. So I'm
Keep
guessing
all the
like
wisdom.
maybe she was in his 20s. She was in her 20s, and like a few months passed. Now she's in her 40s. She has the child. So I don't know. Best not to think about it. So yeah, I thought the fight scenes were pretty great.
How
with
good
the
was
other
it? How good was it to
the
hear
choreography.
J.K. Simmons' voice again? Like Dad.
Who?
J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man.
Oh yeah.
Right? When he starts talking to Mark, you're like, Dad's home.
Such a good voice actor choice.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
It fits the role.
I mean, dude, last week there was Optimus Prime, and then this week we got
J. Jonah
Jameson's back. So JJ, I love
He
it.
basically does look. Omni-Man does look like a roided out J. Jonah Jameson if you think about it.
They did it on purpose. So they're gonna do a live action of this next, obviously, and so yeah, go ahead and do it. I'm all on board. Also, I think J.K. Simmons is a roided out version of J.K. Simmons. Isn't he like jacked?
I think he like works out. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
I think he's pretty jacked already. So he might just have to wear a tight shirt for the live action.
And a wig. There's no wigs
a
in
wig.
the MCU apparently because J. Jonah Jameson was bald and.
Wait, hold on. J.K. Simmons. So, is that the author of The Hairiest Potter?
No, that's J.K. Rowling.
Their cousins.
No, The Hairiest Potter. Like Richard Simmons, J.K. Simmons. That was obscure. I was
Richard
thinking the Harry.
Well, no, he's Richard
The
Simmons'
Hairiest
brother.
Potter.
My apologies.
Richard Simmons.
Yeah, put those crickets on. It was a bad joke. All right.
My apologies. I was thinking of J.K. Rowling, the author of the hairiest tweets. Yeah.
Ooh.
The author of.
Yeah, I did my. Fuck you! I did. I got there first. I was like, did my own joke.
The author of WB stock plummeting because they have all their eggs in Harry Potter, the Harry Potter franchise apparently. Like all they have is Harry Potter and DC, and really, in regards to DC, all they have is Batman at this point. So we'll see if James Gunn can turn the ship around because they're sitting like a gold mine thing at DC, right?
Damn, I didn't think about that. I didn't.
But what about Harry Potter?
Superman walking around on Halloween.
They've gone through Harry Potter. What else do they do?
They're rebooting the. They're just rebooting the book series.
Make another story.
Are they going to reboot the book series already?
Yeah, they're just going to do Sorcerer's Stone again from the beginning because like WB's.
I thought they were going to do like another generation or something.
I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a Harry Potter show. I don't know if it's going to be. It's just going to like have everything that wasn't in the movies, like Peeves, and.
Oh man, yeah. I wish they had Peeves in this.
I just imagine that like. As you're walking, like Harry and the gang's walking around, there's just like witches in the background doing like TikTok dances. Like
I love
it's like modernized.
Movie. I love the first movie when it came out, but I was like, what the fuck is Peeves?
Yeah, movies whose plot revolves around cell phones are boring.
you would hate the movie Cell then.
Gen V.
Yeah, Gen V is so boring.
Well, I think
they're on their cell phones.
I think Departed came out at a time when like texting was still sort of new, and I think that they incorporated it into the plot pretty well because there's like a scene where he's like telling Jack Nicholson's character that the money's there, and he just like texts a money symbol.
Yeah.
But he has to do it like in his jacket so no one can see him texting. So. I think they did it well.
That's different. The Departed was just a good movie, and they utilized it as a like a tool in the plot, but not like reliant on it.
Yeah, and I think that it was like one of those first movies where you actually see the text like on the screen as they're texting.
Thank goodness.
And,
yeah.
That was like
the movie The Killer did it too because it just shows him like buying a fob tracer or a fob copier on Amazon, and you see the actual like Amazon receipts on the screen.
So
like he's ordering them, yeah.
Really quick, I want to shout out to Netflix this week because they fucking destroyed it. Last weekend we got The Killer, and then last night we got Reptile. Both movies are phenomenal.
Who makes Reptile?
So Reptile's on Netflix. It's a Benicio del Toro stars as like it's this detective crime procedural, but it's really well done.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
I gotta check
in
it out.
back-to-back weekends, I have watched great, amazing movies from Netflix. So
And-
I'm always
Wow,
negative,
all
and this
right.
is me being positive. You guys have to watch both movies, The Killer and Reptile.
Well,
Alright.
they also released the new Scott Pilgrim cartoon series, which I'm sort of interested in because I never saw the Michael Cera movie. I just
What?
was not a fan of his.
Oh.
Still not. I mean, I get Arrested Development. People like Arrested Development, but I just don't buy Michael Cera as a leading man.
Yeah, he's
I think
not
Hollywood,
that great.
Hollywood, I think, got the gist of that as well. But I think this is like going to be a more faithful adaptation of Scott Pilgrim comics, which I've never read either, but I hear they're really like good. So I might check that on Netflix as well. So I think Netflix is like, Disney keeps failing with the Marvels and Wish, but Netflix is like
Netflix is
sort of
killing
like
it right
has
now.
been
Yeah.
sort of killing it right now.
Well, Scott Pilgrim is known for having to fight all those evil exes, which I'm going to use to segue into what an amazing fight we had in this mid-series
With the evil
finale.
Viltrumites.
Dude,
Yeah.
that girl Thula, that's the old woman with the long braid.
Oh,
That blade,
with
dude,
the
she
knife
puts
on the end of the
like a
braid.
knife on the end. She's like, I'm like, oh my god, that was so good. And then, like,
Well, when you've been alive for thousands of years,
you just see how dumb Mark is, or not how dumb Mark is, just how human or how half human Mark is, right? And no one's like, no one tries to convince Mark to stop holding back, and that he needs to kill her, or he's gonna be killed. And then later on,
kill or be
at
killed
the end of the
world.
fight, he holds back, he hesitates, and she just stabs him like it's
she does
prison.
the just don't kill me kind of look,
yeah, and
and
then
then,
just
then smile and stab.
It's the idea of he doesn't know what he doesn't know. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
And
he's still a kid.
listen to your fathers, guys.
I mean that would be hard.
They're
to
just trying to keep
snap
you.
into
They're just trying to keep you
kill
safe.
mode.
We forgot one subplot. I think it was in the previous episode, but Robot and Monster Girl go on a date. So that relationship is blossoming.
We also didn't talk about
oh,
Adam,
yeah.
Eve, and Damage.
Yeah.
Or that's.
Oh yeah. Apparently her constructs are
Kill
failing.
Cannon. Kill Cannon. That's it.
Oh yeah. Kill Cannon. So no relation to Coheed or Cambria Kilgannon.
No.
Kill Cannon.
No, but it is in a great relation to Eve. This was the first guy we saw, one of the villains from the pilot episode, and this is like one of the first guys she fought in the Eve special, the Adam Eve special.
Oh, one of the just like meme villains who's always popping up, the elephant guy.
That guy's great.
He pops up all the time, but there's never really any description about him.
Same thing with the guy with the ropes coming out of his chest, or was it like the big league chew?
Oh,
Those were
coming out of his chest.
No.
Oh, who was with
The magma guy, yeah.
yeah.
Dr.
I like all
Seisman.
these what they call
no,
jobber
okay.
villains, where they're just there like to fight heroes. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm bummed out that we're not gonna see Invincible for like another few months because I'm really into the show now.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended with General Krieg, who is voiced by the same guy who was the professor in Gen V. Remember the guy who got killed in the first episode? What was his name? Brandt? Professor Brandt?
Was that the
Nancy
first
Brown.
episode?
Yeah, Gen V, the guy who got killed by Arnold Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And
Clancy Brown. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, he was General Krieg.
Yeah,
So
mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And now Invincible is tasked with Omni-Man's original mission of preparing Earth for a Viltrumite takeover. So
And then he's
we now
obviously
have
not
the
gonna do
trolley
it.
problem.
I would love it if we have Alan looped in and they go after Earth instead of Earth.
That'd be
Right.
hilarious.
Oh, Urath, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess, Rob, like you said, that they're going to send Conquest in to kill Mark because he's not
Well, I think
assimilating Earth.
they send that chick Viltrumite first.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
who's like the nice warning, and then Conquest shows up.
He's the real warning.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she was like, the next time they won't be so nice, or in however the way she said it.
I wonder if they're gonna sleep together.
And she wasn't lying, because when Conquest showed up,
Yeah, what does Conquest do to him? Doesn't he like snap him in half or
kick his ass, doesn't he? It's been so long
Yeah.
since I've read the comics. Since season 1. God, that was such a good season.
Yeah, so
what a good episode. I really enjoyed
well,
it. What'd you guys think?
he did almost die, but Cecil grabbed him secretly and thought he could contain Conquest, like locked him up.
Oh,
in
yeah, that's
solid
right.
steel.
Hubris.
Yeah.
I tell you, Cecil's.
Because he wanted to try to get information, but that failed instantly, basically.
yeah. Yeah, so a lot to look forward to. Angstrom Levy didn't show up at all these 2 episodes, which I was disappointed in because they're sort of like building up to be the big bad this season, but he's barely been in this season. He was in the first episode and he was like sort of at the end of the second episode. We haven't seen him at all, so I'm wondering if he's going to like have a
pulling a
bigger
Thanos
role.
on us.
Yeah. But he's supposed to be like Kang if Kang was interesting. You know? He's got all the variants, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second half of Invincible. I'm really sad that we're going to have to wait a few months, and I don't even think The Boys is coming out until next year, right? Does The Boys have a premiere date?
No, it's just What If, baby. What If, get ready for it. And then I guess if you guys want to, do you guys want to watch Reptile or The Killer? And,
yeah, I've seen The Killer. I can recommend it. It killed.
So, when you watch it, Michael Fassbender never once blinks on camera.
Really? Okay, I didn't realize that.
He's pulling the old
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter trick.
Oh,
Well, in the
really?
last scene, I won't give it away, but the last scene, he sort of almost blinks. But, Matt, do you think there's going to be a sequel to The Killer? Because it's based off a comic book series, right? And there's like more stories after.
With how successful this is looking, I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix, when something's successful, they dump it after the first season. So I'm hoping for another one, because this one just, when you step back and realize what you just watched for a little over 2 hours and how enthralled you were by it, it's literally a guy who doesn't talk on screen but is narrating everything for 2 hours, but you're like at the seat of your like chair.
This movie just like flew by. It seems like a very, very short movie, but it is like 2 hours. But it's just that first scene's like just like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I compare it to, do you remember Ronin from the 90s? One of my favorite films ever. Ronin. It's very similar to... Yep.
Well,
not much happens, but the whole time you're just like, oh my God, It was more similar to me like that French movie, Le Samurai. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. That's another French movie about like a French assassin who like sort of his employer sort of turned on him. And, he kind of has to take matters to his own hands. I think it was definitely sort of like an homage to that. But, I think if there's like more stories we told, I don't know, I haven't read the Killer comic, but I imagine there's more than one story. This was like the first volume they were adapting. So if there's more to be told, David Fincher, wants to do it, then I say they should go for it. And I will say this, there's a lot of controversy with this movie because they released it technically in theaters for 12 days, so that way it would qualify for an Oscar or whatever award movies get. And there's a lot of controversy behind it because it was released immediately straight to streaming, but also kind of released to theaters just so they could be put in the Oscar category, because we still don't accept straight to Netflix or Disney releases as proper movies for the Oscars, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, but they've been doing that for like years now. I think Netflix has. So,
but they have. But this is like the most egregious one. But also like just accept it. This is how we're going. We're going straight to streaming. It's different than, I think the issue is, do you remember straight to DVD in the 90s or early aughts?
Right, yeah.
If it was straight to DVD, it was literally
bad.
The worst piece of crap that had ever happened. And the company was like, you know what? We'd rather just not put it in the theater because we're going to lose so much money.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think that the Academy needs to change their rules then. Like, you shouldn't have to, like, leave your house and like pay $13 for a movie to be considered good enough for you to nominate it.
You know what the crazy part too is, though? I would, after even seeing this, be willing to go to a theater and actually watch this in a theater.
I would have enjoyed seeing this in a theater.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, Netflix wants their stuff on their service, but they also want those Oscars because they want, recognition and prestige. But it's sort of like, well, what do you want? Do you want prestige? Do you want the Oscars? Or do you want to like kill your business model? So, or do you want original content? So, but yeah, this was great.
They can do all three. No one's going to see it in the theaters. They're just putting it out. Like, there's not like there's not like a threshold of people who have to see it in theaters for it to be nominated for an Oscar. They just got thrown up in a couple of theaters for like a week and a half or whatever.
Yeah, I think
they're not. They're not losing Netflix subscribers because someone spent $14 at the theater instead of $14 online.
But like I was saying earlier, Thanksgiving, Turkey Day weekend, Turkey Day week, they released back-to-back phenomenal movies, and it's just like Netflix is kind of starting to come back, and I don't know if I'm just like worn out with Disney, or worn out with Peacock, or worn out with Paramount, or worn out from whatever service I subscribe to. But like Netflix is actually starting to like.
Netflix is killing it. Right?
You're like maybe I should get rid of Netflix, and they're like no, they're still releasing good shit.
Yeah, and Stranger Things is about to come back, and hopefully, I'm really hoping that The Killer, like, I'm not sure like how successful it is like numbers wise, but I'm really hoping that like it gives David Fincher enough clout in Netflix to be like, hey, let's make Mindhunter season 3. And they're like, and Netflix is like, we'll do anything to keep you, David Fincher. So yeah, we're gonna greenlit.
Even though he said he'll never do it, I wish. Yeah. Oh man, Mindhunter season 3, I would
so
kill
good.
For.
Ironically,
yeah.
But like
really
he says he'll never do it, but like
No, I don't blame him. He said it took him like 90 hours a week or 100 hours a week, like for season 2, and it's like, dude, I wouldn't do season 3. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully they make it in some shape.
Yeah,
they're doing like True Detective. They're doing True Detective season 4, which
it's going to be in Alaska, and it's coming out in January, and I'm definitely going to watch it, and then I'm definitely going to be disappointed because it's not season 1.
Well, Nick Pizzolatto, I don't think he's even involved anymore, so it's just True Detective in name only. But has Jodie Foster is going to be in it, so she's a name actress. Yeah. So Mage, you want to plug our social media? I think covered everything.
Yeah. So we are currently in the process of uploading our back catalog onto YouTube. For those who want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, there will be that there. Sometimes there'll be a visual component. Hopefully, that's the plan. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can do so on X, the site formerly known as Twitter, at Zealots Podcast. Zealots Podcast, if you want to reach out, tell us what you think. Don't forget to rate and review this episode. We really appreciate giving it 5 stars. Really does help push it on the algorithm. So if you liked it, and like you have to if you're this far into it, else that's just really weird. And you should comment and tell us why you're still listening. And we appreciate it if you don't like what you're hearing right now. But do it. Give us 5 stars. We would really appreciate it. It really helps put this podcast back into the algorithm atmosphere. And that would be great. So we can reach more people. So more people can listen.
Well, I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
And I'm Robbie.
Matt.
And Chip.
Thanks for listening. Appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Very nice.
And we just end it right there, yeah.